Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and as always, joining me on a Monday to do a weekend wrap up of sports is Jason Cameron. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good, man. It's going good. It's been a beautiful day today. It was
Yeah.
not a very demanding day at work, so I'm quite happy. Yay.
Nice, nice. Yeah, well, I was expecting to work. I haven't worked in quite a while, and so I was like, shoot, I got to put clothes on today? Damn, I really wasn't wanting to. And then lo and behold, I wasn't called into work, so I just only put on clothes about 10 minutes ago for this show, and they're coming back off. It's too nice weather, too hot to wear anything. So, yeah, I've just been lazing about, going to Wreck Beach and being home, being naked. It's just been great. I've been loving it.
I am really happy, and so are our viewers, that you decided to put clothes on just to do the pod. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for that. And for
You're
being
welcome.
forward. And hey, man, hey, just enjoy your time off because
Yeah.
once you get back at it, you get back at it. You know how that goes.
I know. Yeah, we both know. And yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I've got a few more days and a lot more of these things to do and sports to watch. Another phenomenal weekend of sports. I thought things would really slow down. The NHL was over, the NBA was over, and I thought, okay, wow, it's going to just free up so much time. And then boom, the Olympics start. And so, holy cow, I've been just watching tons of that. It's been super fun. Obviously, UFC Saturday, and that consumes pretty much every Saturday for me. But the Olympics been fantastic, and because of free agency looming and the NBA draft on Thursday, some trades have happened. So some cool things for us to talk about right off the hop. Have you heard of the big trades in the NBA today?
No, I missed that. I missed it. What happened? Something huge?
Yeah, there's been like some huge moves, absolutely massive.
Okay.
It's been crazy. The Raptors supposedly have traded Fred Van Vliet, OG Anunoby, and their fourth overall pick for Ben Simmons. So
Oh,
pretty shocking news there. I don't love the trade. I don't know why they're doing it, but that's the big rumor that the huge trade has happened there.
uh, okay. I'm a little okay. First off, I'm just gonna say this. I'm super shocked. I'm super
Yeah,
shocked because of the fact that they gave Fred Van Fleet the bag. They gave him a huge contract,
yeah,
and I thought that he would be their guy going forward, and that Kyle Lowry would be the one going out.
hmm,
Fred Van Fleet going out like that flies in the face of obviously what I expected to happen. And OG Ananobi as well, that the Sixers, if they managed to pull off this deal, they managed to steal him as well, and he was on the up and up. That's oh man, that's a big time move by the Sixers.
yeah.
Big time move, man. Wow.
Yeah, I'm really shocked. I thought Ben Simmons had really fallen out of favor with most of the NBA. I thought, his poor performance at the free throw line and how much it impacted Philly's ability to push forward and go for an NBA title. They finished first in the East, and he was, the main linchpin, the reason why they didn't do it. And I didn't think a lot of teams would, put a lot out there for him. I thought maybe there might be some interest. But I didn't think that he could garner such a big deal. Fred Van Vliet has been, working his way into prominence for the Raptors, being Kyle Lowry's understudy, and all of a sudden, has been phenomenal in the past couple of years. This past year, he was just amazing, and yeah, it's really shocking that the Raptors would give up on a guy that they've been grooming and bringing in for this many years. Same with OG, a guy that was a late bloomer, has suddenly rose to prominence under Nick Nurse's tutelage, and yeah, and to get Ben Simmons, I just yeah, I don't see it as being a great move by Ujiri. Usually the moves he makes, I'm super impressed by, but this one really shocked me.
Yeah, I gotta. Oh man, I do have. I'm like you. I have a lot of question marks about this move because is it actually going to pay the dividends that you expect it to pay off in
Yeah.
the end? Is it really going to do that? I would say that Fred VanVleet was on the cusp of becoming that all-star
Yeah.
and perennial all-star. Like
Hmm.
he was right there. And like once the Sixers get him, he probably is that all-star now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And OG Anunoby probably being like that sixth man coming off the bench or being a starter. I don't know how he's going to fit into the Sixers rotation, but like he's going to be one of the guys either coming immediately off the bench or a starter. So wow, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That
So that happened. There's another trade that's pending right here. I'm watching it. It's coming through the wire right now, but another trade has been finalized. Jonas Valanciunas is going to New Orleans for Eric Bledsoe, Steven Adams, 2 first-round picks, and they're swapping picks in this year's draft. So another huge move. Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams, didn't work out very well with New Orleans. When they did the Drew Holiday deal, Bledsoe was expected to really flourish there, and he had a really bad year. Didn't play well at all. Didn't seem to fit in with that group, and they gave up on him quick. Valanciunas has been really phenomenal. He was third overall in rebounds this year, and he's been a great big man, one of the best big men in the game, I think. Huge, another big move.
Yeah, very big move. That's a great move for the Pelicans to bolster their front court. That's for sure by
Yeah,
having Jonas in there. Um, and as for the Memphis Grizzlies, I would say that obviously the thing that they get back is like the hard man that he is, Steven Adams in the front court. So he provides you with a sturdy defender on defense for your front court.
hmm
And I think he's got a little bit underrated for his offensive touch. He's got soft touch around the basket, so
yeah,
he can help you in that respect.
hmm
But at the same time, yeah, that's a big move to let Jonas go like that to the Pelicans because I thought Jonas and John Morant actually had good synergy on the court between
yeah.
the two of them. So
So there's been a huge amount of rumors for the Lakers. Almost pretty much everybody's been rumored to go there, and the latest one was that DeMar DeRozan has decided to leave San Antonio and go to LA. So there's been this huge deal. Kyle Lowry was supposedly looking for a $90 million 3-year deal, which I thought probably wouldn't happen, a 35-year-old guy. So supposedly he has decided to join DeMar going to LA. This is the deal. We've got Lowry, DeRozan, CP3, Lillard, Westbrook, Lonzo Ball, and Beal and Dinwiddie going to the Lakers for everybody but LeBron and AD.
not bad. That's a pretty good team.
Quite the haul there. Holy cow. Lots of moving parts. I don't know how they can pull this off. How many teams is that? 7-team deal. I don't know. Jesus. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. But no, I mean, honestly, I'm joking, of course. But everybody that I just said on that list has been rumored to go to the Lakers, and they're supposedly offering Kyle Kuzma and KCP and THT and a few other moving pieces, but I don't see many of these guys going unless they want to take severe pay cuts and they want to have a lower role. Out of all those names, do you see some of these guys actually ending up as a Laker?
Uh, I first off, I don't know if the Lakers have the cap space to get who they actually really want,
Yeah.
right? Like, I just don't know if they have enough money. The only person that maybe they'd have to trade for him and they'd have to give up some money, maybe Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
That might be something that's doable.
Right.
But otherwise, everybody else just seems way too expensive
Yeah.
for them to afford. Like, it really does. So
Yeah. Well, there have been some talk today that Lowry and DeRozan want to reunite, and DeRozan went on Shannon Sharp's show, and he said that he wants to return to LA. I shouldn't put words in his mouth, but he said returning to LA at some point would be a very attractive thing. He grew up in Compton. He is more interested in the ring than the money. He said, "I've made a ton of money already in my life." Lowry and him are, continue to remain best of buddies. And just imagine those two guys joining AD and LeBron there. That would be a really formidable, four guys that you put on the court every night.
How about this? If those two if they actually manage to make it happen, and if those two join, then LeBron doesn't have to worry about much.
Yeah.
Like there would be many nights, whether it be regular season or playoffs, where he knows he doesn't have to carry the load.
Yeah.
He just knows he wouldn't have to do that. So the only question, like I've said before, is how healthy can AD stay throughout the course of the year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Always the question.
Such a big question. Yeah. And a lot of people were really bullish on the Lakers making that move for AD, saying, they gave up all these young stars for a guy that's continually injured. And, they did get a title, but I don't know if he'll ever be able to stay healthy enough to, get a dynasty going and get a bunch of titles there.
Yeah, that's a huge question mark. I don't know what his off-season commitment is like, but I'm guessing it's not like LeBron's.
Right.
That guy doesn't ever get injured. Last year was the anomaly, literally, in 18 years. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so much rumors, so many things coming down. A couple big trades today. I expect more. NBA draft happens on Thursday. It's going to be pretty exciting. Starts at 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern. Detroit gets the first overall pick, and everybody says that Cade Cunningham, the OK State guard, 6'8", going to Detroit, number 1 overall. I think that's a huge move for them, and might attract some more people there so they can get back to some relevancy.
Yeah, that would probably be best for them, for the Pistons to take him, because I think he's pretty much number 1 overall. But this draft has so many good players. Man.
Yeah, sure does.
So many good players, so many like franchise changing players in this particular draft. It's actually amazing to see.
Yeah. Houston's number 2 overall, rumored to be going after guard Jalen Green. He is 6'5". He's playing in the G League right now. Cleveland wants supposedly the forward center Evan Mobley out of USC, 7-footer. Toronto at 4th. Sounds like they've got rid of this pick, but if this doesn't come to fruition, Jalen Suggs of Gonzaga is supposed to go there. Orlando's going for a guy out of Florida State, 6'8" forward Scotty Barnes. Orlando has a ton of picks in this draft. OKC has a ton of picks. If you go down the list, it's unbelievable how many picks are trades that have been made over the past few years. Everybody's just been moving picks and parts to try to assemble winners, and it's insane. Toronto has a bunch of picks. OKC, I think, is like 6 picks. It's crazy, and it's going to be fun. There's going to be a ton of deals done draft night and leading into it. It's always super fun and great to see these guys finally achieving a lifelong dream and getting picked.
Oh yeah, of course, because like this is what the culmination of all their hard work and effort gets them to this point now.
Yeah.
And then now once they get into the league, it's like, well, how good can I actually get? How good can I be? And then that's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how this particular draft year turns out. I'm kind of curious to see if this particular draft year turns out to be like I want to say the 96 draft year.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same draft year, I think, as Ray Allen came out, Steve Nash came out, Kobe Bryant came out.
Yep.
There was like 4 or 5 Hall of Famers in that particular draft year. So
yeah.
maybe this one is like that.
Yeah, I hope so. Incredible. Yeah, there's a few drafts that a lot of people mention and a lot of people talk about over the years. The '84 draft that had Barkley and Jordan and Olajuwon. The '96 draft, you're right. That was in New Jersey. Kobe Bryant was passed over by 12 teams, picked 13th overall. There's a really cool book and a great documentary story on how the New Jersey Nets at the time were really excited to pick Kobe. John Calipari had just come from college ranks and become coach and player personnel director there, and he wanted to pick Kobe, and the owners didn't, and a bunch of things happened. Basically, the his agent said, no, he's going to play in Italy if you guys pick him. He doesn't want to go to New Jersey. So they decided to get Kerry Kittles instead of Kobe Bryant. And there's a lot of really cool things where you could have saw Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, and Kobe Bryant all on the Nets at the same time, which would have been just absolutely shockingly great team.
Yeah, that's just highlight reel all the time, all day, every day. That would have been awesome to see.
Yeah. There was a lot of talk that Michael Jordan actually could have become a Houston Rocket. '84 draft, Jordan wasn't picked till third overall. Hakeem was first, Sam Bowie was second, and Jordan came in third. And then Houston almost had a deal with Chicago for sending Ralph Sampson to Chicago for Jordan. And he would have joined Olajuwon, and he probably would have won more titles than he actually won in Chicago, and sooner, because he was in Chicago. They had those losing years before he finally was able to assemble the group around him. And yeah, so a lot of people talk about that '84 draft being one of the craziest. But imagine if that trade would have happened.
Well, that I don't think that would have been fair for the rest of the league. Like, it wouldn't have been fair. You
Yeah,
got Hakeem the Dream, Olajuwon, and Michael Jordan on the same team.
yeah,
Oh man, it's like, what do you do with that? Nothing.
yeah. Because even when they were on the opposite team, they won 8 in a row, three on 3 and 3, and Houston 2 in the middle. So they would have been absolutely unstoppable, even probably better than Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, that's like 10 championships. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Nobody else had a shot.
Yeah. And I was watching some stuff today, and they were talking about how Steph Curry was passed over by Minnesota. Minnesota had the fifth and sixth picks in the draft, and they picked Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn, and Steph Curry was picked next to Golden State. And yeah, imagine the difference in the history of the NBA if he would have went to Minnesota. Who knows if he would have, done what he did, because Klay Thompson ends up going there and Draymond, and a lot of things worked out. But imagine him in T-Will's jersey that whole time. Imagine. Uh-oh. I see I see a
like
frozen
if
Jason there.
T Wolves at
Yeah.
that point in time, I want to I, I want to think that he would have become the player who he is,
Yeah.
who he became.
Right.
But at the same time, it just would have been very different, very different.
Yeah. And Scottie Pippen was drafted by Charlotte, ended up getting traded an hour later to Chicago, which, that was a pretty shocking move. Imagine if Scottie would have stayed in Charlotte and Jordan would have had to find somebody else.
Yeah, that would have been ridiculous. That would have been just so weird and transformative for both those teams, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so there's going to be lots of fun things to talk about as this week goes on. The draft is always fun and lots of moving parts for sure. So we're a little over or a little less than a week out from the championship by the Bucks. We might as well just touch on it. A great culmination season by Giannis, an incredible performance by him. He just proved that he is the MVP. He is a beast, and just willed that team to win 4 straight wins over the Suns after going down 0-2. Him and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, amazing, formidable duo. I mean, trio. I don't know if they're going to be a dynasty yet, but man, that was a really phenomenal championship performance by them.
Yes, yes, it was. Like Giannis was the superstar when they needed him to be that guy. Like when they couldn't score, the Bucks couldn't score at all. Giannis stepped up and literally carried that team, especially in the second half. Like his numbers are legendary. 18 to 25, 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, and yes, I can hit my free throws 17 of 19
Yeah,
down the stretch.
amazing.
Like it doesn't get any better than that. He
Yeah,
did everything. Everything.
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's your superstar.
Yeah, yeah, it was the best big man performance we've seen since Shaq, and he just, yeah, he took all the criticism, all the early exits, and he just decided to throw the team on his back and just prove that he is so great at it. And I'm glad he finally realized, don't shoot the three, just take it to the hoop. You're unstoppable, and yeah, he's a champ. An incredible story from growing up in such a tough way. He said he had to go and be a street vendor. He when he came into the league, I can't believe the pictures you see when he was drafted. He looks like a little kid. It's crazy. I don't believe that. I can't believe that he's added about 45 pounds of muscle since he's been in the league, and he's just an absolute beast now.
Yeah, and then he grew. He was a late bloomer. Then he became a 7-footer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't even look like the same human being anymore. He
No,
really doesn't.
not at
Like
all.
when he came into the league and to what he looks like now, what he's developed and made his body into.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to say is if you put in the work into your body, you work as hard as Giannis did. Let's be honest here. Him even playing in the finals is freaking a miracle
Yeah.
because of the injury he suffered beforehand. But
Yeah.
I say that he healed up and was able to go because of the work he put in to his body for all of those years, the culmination of all those years.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that AD doesn't work hard on his body, but I don't think he does what Giannis does.
No, you're
Because
right.
if he did, maybe he wouldn't have all these injuries all the time.
I agree. Yeah, I fully agree, and yeah, it's incredible, and it's great to see because most times to be successful in life, you got to put in hard work, and he really has. There's no doubt about it. He has just transformed into a different human being, and he took that opportunity and ran with it. And a lot of young people, I hope they can look at him as an example and say, hey, somebody's giving me a chance. They're drafting me. All these guys, there'll be 60 new guys going into the NBA coming up this Thursday. If all those guys can work as hard as Giannis, the sky's the limit.
Of course, the sky's the limit. But like, even with great talent, you still got to put in an extraordinary amount of work because
Massive.
that's what Jordan did. And
Yep.
then look at what he became, right? Like, and he had all the God-given talent in the world. So it doesn't matter if you have the God-given talent. It matters what you do with it, the hard work that you do to supplement that God-given talent.
Yeah, yeah. And it was sure great to see how much support Milwaukee had. 65,000 fans outside, maybe 20,000 fans inside. That's something like a quarter of the population of the whole entire area. And just incredible to see that franchise just rising up and being able to have a championship. 50-year drought is over, and yeah, they'll be a force to be reckoned with. It's really hard to handicap next year because there'll be a lot of players changing teams, and we'll see how things shake out. Brooklyn had a phenomenal year. I'd be really surprised if CP3 leaves Phoenix, but there's rumors that he's looking around and seeing what else is out there.
Yeah, it would be a shame, but I know that he's looking for a certain like dollar amount from the team and a certain amount of years for a commitment. And he's kind of put into a weird situation because he's also the president of the Players Association, right?
Yeah, true.
So
Yeah.
he can't actually take you can't give like teams a deal. You can't do that. He
Right.
has to he
Right.
has to be front and center with the fact that no, you're going to pay me what I'm worth
Yeah.
because it's also what I represent to the players as well. So there's no him taking a deal. It's him maximizing exactly how much he's worth.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that said he wasn't worth the contract that he has. Prior to this past season, everyone was saying that it's brutal, it's a horrible deal. I can't believe that Phoenix would spend that kind of money on a 35-year-old guy, and he stuck to his guns, and ended up really being the catalyst that drove them to the final. So good on him. Yeah, he is put in a weird spot being that president of the Players Association, and yeah, he can't take a team-friendly deal because that'll send shockwaves through the league, and it'll mess up a lot of other guys too. So you're right about that.
Yeah, yeah, he's got to be pretty hard on that. I think though, I would like to think that the Suns still get something done because of what he meant to the team, and also to see the actual jump from from 2020 2020. Like it's a huge jump. It's
Yeah.
an awesome jump, man.
Yeah.
And then it's all because of literally one dude. So you would have to think to yourself, yes, I know he's getting older, but that game that he brings to the table doesn't age.
No.
Like it just keeps going on like fine wine, man. Like that's
True.
his in the game. It's
Yep.
not predicated on athleticism.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of people, they dismiss guys like that, and at their own peril. Everybody dismissed Steph Curry. Said he wasn't athletic enough. He's too short. Everything, and became the greatest shooter in NBA history. So you don't judge a book by its cover every time. That's for damn sure. Okay, so the NBA season ended. They had a great parade in Milwaukee. It was a lot of fun to watch. The champagne was flowing, and then suddenly, boom! Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker are on a 10-hour flight together over to Tokyo so they can join the Olympic team. How frosty of a reception would it have been for Booker on that flight? Do you think he would have been chatting them up very much, or he would have been just keeping to himself?
Yeah, I think after it's all died down, like he's probably like, yeah, congratulations, because now they're teammates. Now it's like
Yeah.
we're gonna have to live together and get along and all that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, they're pros, but obviously they're still kind of like a little hard. It's like
Mm.
there's probably Booker's making some comments like that one time when you were guarding me, that was foul, right?
Right. Yeah. 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 Bringing up a lot of the stuff through that series. Yeah. Yeah. It must have been tough, but hopefully they can put the water under the bridge and yeah, become teammates quick. There was a bit of shockwaves through the basketball world as the U.S. team did get beat by France opening game of the tournament. They haven't looked good. They didn't look good in that exhibition little tournament. They are actually 3-5 in their last 8 exhibition or 8 international games, and France was the better team by far. Watch this game, and U.S. has incredible talent, but they don't play as a team as much as France does. France was great, and they beat them. Most people in the U.S. Aren't used to this. They broke a 25-game winning streak in the Olympics in that game. The last loss came in 2004. So I called you in the morning to tell you, oh man, I watched the game, and try to keep your eye out for some highlights. Did you get to see some?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And okay, so this is what I kind of saw from the highlights. It just seemed to me that the U.S. took the floor and was like, okay, well, we started playing, so we should win.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was, I don't know, it felt like almost like there was an assumption from the team, even as we were playing, that we should win this game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the rest of the world is good enough that there's no more assumptions anymore. You're going to actually have to play us to beat us.
Yeah.
And that's what it seemed to me to be very obvious in this game. They're gonna have to play the game.
Yeah. Greg Popovich is taking a lot of abuse. A lot of these players are taking heat for it. KD only scored 10 points in the game. Damian Lillard only had 11. Popovich was criticized for his matchups. They said you can't run a team like this. It's the same as you do the Spurs, and he hasn't looked great. He's been the coach since 2017, and they haven't had much success. But I just think that they needed more time together. To be honest, we talked about Canada when they were trying to qualify. They never had any chance to try to pull together as a team and get an opportunity. And these other nations have been able to play together quite a bit, get some experience, knowing the tendencies, and it showed really badly. And I think.
Yeah, man. Like the US doesn't have any familiarity with like any of their other players. Like some guys have played with each other because they're on the same team, but otherwise they're just like, I don't know. I don't know what do you do good? Oh no, you're KD, you do everything good. So it's almost like they're trying to figure it out
Yeah.
as they're playing in these games. And also trying to figure out this offense that Pop likes to run, which is the Spurs offense. That apparently there's a lot of rumblings. A lot of players don't like the offense.
Sure. Yeah.
They're not fans of the offense at all.
Yeah.
So with now that you have players upset about what they're running and the fact that there's no familiarity between any of the players, it's going to cause a lot of friction, which we're seeing now. So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, Evan Fournier was phenomenal. He had 28 points. They've got a lot of NBA players on that France team, and I think they're the team to beat in the tournament. I think, they'll probably be there at the end. I didn't see much of anybody playing very well. Drew Holiday ended up being the guy in the end, but he was dealing with some jet lag. He was dealing with some, hangovers probably coming straight from the partying they've been doing. But yeah, it was crazy. They were outscored 16-2 in the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds. They were 0 for 9 from the field and 0 for 6 from 3. They actually had 3 opportunities for the 3-point shots in that last minute, and all 3 missed. And lots of fouls. They tried to slow the game down, but France hit all the fouls and has a victory. U.S. play Iran on Wednesday. That's late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Should beat them. But then they've got the Czech Republic, who've improved a ton, and they play really together as a team. They'll give them a test for sure. And then the medal round starts the following week. So it's I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I really don't think the U.S. is going to pull it off this year. I think somebody else is going to win the gold, and I think they're going to have to settle for silver or bronze.
Yeah, it seems like it's one of those Olympic years where there's just too much dysfunction, and they're not really playing together. It seems like, anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have it within them, because like even when you look at like the field goal percentage for the U.S. at the end of this game, it was 36%.
Yeah.
That's atrocious.
Pretty bad. Yeah.
Pretty bad.
No, their shooting was horrible. They went up early. They still had a lead at halftime, and then France was able to get their guys in there and play great down the stretch. Amazing. I was super impressed with Gobert. He struggled a little bit in the NBA playoffs, but he was a force in the middle. Batum was great. Fournier was great. France was a force to be reckoned with, and I see all kinds of trouble for that American team, but they're sure worried about it on all the news stations, all the sports stations. They're, oh my God, the sky is falling, and I think a lot of NBA players will second guess even going next time if they don't win this medal. If they don't win a medal at all, for sure, but if they don't win this gold, I think a lot of guys will worry about the criticism, the abuse they'll take for not being able to just wipe everybody out and win the gold.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of guys will be like, I'm not really into taking on all of that, especially if we lose a single game. So I
Yeah.
think I'm good, and they just won't go anymore.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, like it's like, yeah, then maybe I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to say that there'll be no NBA players, but maybe you'll see less superstars going to the Olympics.
I have a feeling that's probably what's gonna probably happen. So yeah, well, it'll be interesting going forward this week. Okay, speaking of Olympics, Canada's women's team is in the basketball tournament, and they played Serbia to start. They had a really great spirited match. It went back and forth, but they ended up losing 72-68 to Serbia. Nera Fields was the top game high scorer with 19 points. Kia Nurse had 16 for Canada. They were great, but Serbia was 8 for 17 from 3-point land. They hit three consecutive threes late to pull away and get the victory. Tough result for Canada, who's number 4 ranked in the world, but yeah, they also I think had the same type of difficulties getting enough playing time together before this tournament. Hopefully they can get a lot more in before their next matchup.
Yeah, hopefully they can get some more practice in, and they can bounce back from this setback and still stay somewhat in contention for a medal going forward.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Olympics has been fun. Have you been watching very much? Have you been able to see some of the competition?
Unfortunately, I've just been able to see some of the highlights for the basketball, and that's literally about it.
Okay.
That is it.
Well, I'll do a little bit of a rundown. Japan, the host nation, is on top. They've got 8 gold medals and 13 in all, 8 gold, 2 silver, and 3 bronze. Great to see a host nation be right up there. I'm glad they're on top right now. That's a lot of people were angry in Japan that they accepted the Olympics. They're not accepting many fans, if at all, in most of these venues, and it's got to be super costly. But yeah, they said they're marching forward 1 year too late, and but I'm happy for the host nation when they do really well.
Yeah, you know what? Because like literally because of the pandemic, they're sacrificing quite a bit. They're losing money hand over fist on this. So yes, it's good that the host nation is doing well, even though there's literally no fans.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, the U.S. sits in second place. They got 7 gold, 3 silver, and 5 bronze, 15 medals. China's in third. They have more overall total medals with 18, but they only have 6 gold, 5 silver, and 7 bronze. Those cheaters from that huge country over there, don't even want to mention them. They don't deserve to be talked about. I don't even know why they're calling them the Olympic Committee team. What is that harming them? No, it's not really harming them. Not being able to just have one single name on their jersey instead of the ROC, like, oh wow, what a penalty that is! Like, come on, this is a cheating nation. They shouldn't even be there. They should have banned them completely, 100%. And made them, make amends to make sure that this cheating stops. But I'm not mentioning them on this podcast. Forget those cheating guys, okay?
Okay, they are forgotten, and yes, that country is gone for us.
Yeah, let's wipe it off the map for now.
Okay.
Canada's sitting in 11th place. We've got 4 medals, 1 gold, 2 silver, and 1 bronze. 2 medals in the pool. 3 medals in the pool. 2 in racing, 1 in diving, and then we got a bronze medal in judo today. So that was pretty great. It's fun to watch the swimmers. Penny Alexiak was the darling of the pool last Olympics, and she inspired a lot of really good Canadians. All these women came out. Our gold medal is a girl named Maggie McNeil. Said she was inspired by Alexiak, and she won. We had a girl, Summer Hilton, I think her last name is, and she finished in 4th place yesterday, 14 years old, and just had an amazing swim. Almost was on the podium. It's been fun to watch. We're really good in the pool. Our 4x100 meter freestyle team, the men, had an amazing performance as well, and they finished fourth just off the podium. But yeah, the Olympic Games are full swing. 4 days in, and yeah, it's been super fun to watch. Today they had a storm. It was raining really crazy, so they postponed some events and pushed back some others. But it looked like it got better as the day wore on. That synchronized diving silver by Jennifer Abel and Melissa Citrini Bilio was fun to watch. Man, those girls were amazing. It's pretty cool to do the synchro diving, having to jump off a springboard and be perfectly in sync as you're going into the pool. That's a cool competition.
Yes, it is a very cool competition, especially when they do that synchronized diving and stuff like that. Like it's amazing
Yeah.
that how they manage to do that at the same time. Like I don't know if they count 1, 2, 3, go. Like I don't know how they do it. I
Yeah.
really don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
It is a skill that I do not have. I think you know what would be really cool though. We had like twins do it, the twins,
Yeah.
the actual twins.
It has
So
been
that
done
it's
by
like,
twins.
oh,
Yeah, it has been done by twins. So yeah, you'll have to watch. I have a cousin who was a world-class diver, and I appreciate the sport a ton. We used to go to the pool as kids, and he was always just an amazing diver. He ended up going to Penn State University, getting a full scholarship. Was yeah, one of the best divers in the country back in his day, and so yeah, I've always really liked that. The Olympics has been super amazing to watch. Japan, I didn't realize this in Japan, but you can scour the country everywhere and you will not find garbage anywhere. They have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people immediately just cleaning all the time, picking up garbage, making sure that it's spotless everywhere. It is just the cleanest country on the face of the earth, and it's pretty awesome. I'm surprised that they had such a bad time with COVID because they are such a clean nation and very clean people. They're always scouring everything. Soon as the train pulls in, people leave. They clean every seat, every single pole, every area. Always have and always will. Supposedly, it's a pretty neat spot.
yeah, that's actually amazing. That's actually amazing to go to a country and be like, wow, it is super clean here, even outside. There's no
Yeah.
garbage. Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome.
There's 42 empty venues here, 11,000 athletes, 339 gold medals up for grabs. There are a lot of really great athletes that range from the age 12 to 58. There's a 12-year-old that's competing in table tennis and a 58-year-old competing in table tennis as well. The 58-year-old, I think, is in her eighth Olympics or something crazy. And I watched skateboarding, and two 13-year-olds won the gold and the silver, and a 16-year-old won the bronze. It was pretty awesome.
That's actually pretty cool. I'm just gonna be honest. I had no idea that skateboarding made the Olympics. I don't know when that happened, but that is pretty awesome that teenagers are dominating the podium for that particular sport.
I loved it. I loved it. There was 34-year-olds in the competition, and they finished far back. I was so excited to see these young kids do it. This year there are five new sports. Skateboarding is one. Sport climbing. They have sport climbing now. Indoors. That's pretty neat. Karate, surfing, and 3-on-3 basketball, which I really have been enjoying. Super fun to watch. Really high pace, and it's cool. I'm glad they put it in there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my next question is, what players are playing them? They just have like college players. They definitely don't have pros playing 3-on-3, right?
There's professional women
Oh,
playing in the
okay.
women's side. Yeah, there's girls
Oh,
from the WNBA that are in there.
nice. Well, then that's cool because
Yeah.
I've always loved 3-on-3 basketball. I remember doing that growing up and playing.
Me
ton of
too.
that. So
Yeah, it's
that's
blast.
what we're gonna do.
Yeah, me too. I played tons of that, and I loved it a lot. And it's really neat that they included it. Since 1980, they've added 100 events to the Olympics. This year there was 5 new ones, and there's always rumors that there's going to be some new ones. I heard ballroom dancing's coming up next. I heard some really bizarre ones. I was really shocked when we won gold medal in trampoline. That was like we're number one, we're at trampoline. But yeah, there's a lot of more obscure sports. I've yet to watch the climbing. I don't know if it's been on yet, but yeah, it's pretty wild. What do you think when they keep adding these new sports?
Well, I think it's cool. I think it's like it's an evolution, like where these things that more and more people are into, well, we might as well have them in the Olympics to see who's the best at it. Like
Yeah.
I think it's a very cool thing to have and to
Yeah.
see.
No, I'm excited. I'm glad for those people that are getting the opportunity to showcase their sport and yeah, put it on the world stage. This is great. Okay, I want to talk about the UFC, but two notes I want to say about the NFL. Supposedly, Aaron Rodgers has put together a deal to stay with the Packers. They have decided to eliminate the last year of his contract that he already has, signing a deal for 1 year, and he's going to leave at the end of this year. They've put together that. Supposedly, they've given him more say on personnel decisions. So they're going to reach an agreement again next year if he's happy with how things have been handled because he hasn't been happy in the last couple of years. So now they can go after Devontae Adams, get him signed, and I guess good for Packer Nation.
Yeah, because I think that's the one thing that's been the tipping point for Aaron Rodgers for years, which is
Yeah.
the fact that they never listened to him and
Yeah.
that he'd had enough. And so finally, I guess he forced their hand by saying, "Well, I guess either you listen to me or I sit out or I retire. Your choice."
Yeah.
I don't know. I was the MVP of the league, so I guess maybe you don't need me. Maybe
Got
you're
him.
better off without me being there.
Yeah, he
You
had
know?
some pull this year, that's for sure, and I'm glad he used his hand because yeah, I mean he deserved it. I think he's put in 16 years there, been one of the best players in the league, and they just keep sort of disrespecting him. They just don't seem to. They should, talk to your franchise guy a lot more. I think, and to not do so is a bit of a slap in the face, and yeah, so he played his hand, and looks like it's worked out for him.
Well, you know what? There's another quarterback that I wish wasn't in the league, but he is. That where when he talked, his coach Belichick, listen,
Yeah.
oh man, he won a lot of Super Bowls by doing that.
Right.
Maybe those coaches should be like, maybe Belichick was onto something.
Yeah.
Maybe we should listen to him. Maybe we should actually take into consideration what he has to say.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, but took a while, but finally they've done it. Okay, another quarterback is in the news. Training camp starts tomorrow for Houston Texans, and Deshaun Watson is reporting he doesn't want to get fined 50K a day like they said they can, but he still says he wants to trade wants to be traded out of there. They have finally said, okay, we will look for trading partners and we'll try to make a deal. What do you think about this? Do you think it's finally going to happen? Do you think they're going to be able to pull off a trade?
Ah, I think they'll be able to pull off a trade. I just don't necessarily know if Deshaun Watson will be happy with said trade when it's pulled off.
Okay.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
I think it will go through at some point, but let's be honest. Once they got rid of that guy that went to the Arizona Cardinals, help me out here. Who was that again? Who was like one of the best
Oh
receivers in
yeah,
the league?
yeah. You're talking about
DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Like once they let him,
DeAndre Hopkins.
yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. Like
Yeah.
once they actually let him go, that's when everything just went swirling down into the toilet. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
like, oh wait. I needed that guy to, win, just literally to win. And you gave him away for like a Tootsie Roll or something like that. I don't know what you did,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the end. That's where they really screwed up, and that's why the guys now, come on out. I'm out of
Yeah.
here.
22 civil lawsuits have been filed against Deshaun, and 10 women have
Oh,
approached the police for looking into criminal charges because for some reason he is inappropriate with the masseuse community in Houston. And if I'm an organization, why would I want to touch a guy that has 22 lawsuits against him right now and 10 women that want him criminally charged? Eventually, the pressure's probably going to get on where Houston police are going to have to charge him criminally too. I don't see anyone really wanting to touch him with all this hanging over his head.
yeah, I forgot about that part. I totally did. So yeah. Like usually what the league does especially when it has like some sort of criminal accusations against women by their players, usually doesn't go well for the player
No,
at all.
no.
At all. So how about this? They're gonna try to deal him. Now the question is, what organization says, "Oh, sweet, he only has 22? Oh, that's awesome. He doesn't have 23. I think we'll get."
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. Like, a lot of teams have done some crazy things over the years and brought guys in, with some pretty checkered past. But this is hanging over his head right now, and it's just come to light fairly recently, and it's got to get settled. I don't see it just getting swept under the rug 100%. Going away with money, maybe the civil ones, but. If they're starting to look into criminal charges, I think he's damaged goods to the point where I wouldn't want to touch him if I was part of a team. I ran any kind of organization.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't. It wouldn't make sense for your organization or for your PR or for your marketing. Like you
No.
can't market a guy that has all these lawsuits and criminal charges, all from women, all of them. Not good. Not
Scary.
good.
Yeah. Scary. Yeah. I think his agent should hire a full-time masseuse, pay her 150 G's a year, and that's it. Done deal. You're his masseuse. He needs a massage a few times a day, every day, and no more troubles, no more of this kind of crap. Because holy cow, I cannot believe that this has occurred in a guy's life that seems to have the world by the tail. He's one of the most talented guys in the world, being able to throw and run, and just to throw it away for all this massage stuff. It's insane. It's insane.
It's absolutely insane. I actually think he should even go a little bit in a different direction. Just abstain from women. Period.
Okay.
Just like
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
monastery, monkish, and that's it.
Good luck.
You're
Yeah.
good.
Good luck. Good luck. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send
Yeah.
him your suggestion. See what he says. Yeah. Okay, so fight night. I'm calling it the comeback card of the year. Tons of fights were really known for a comeback. The first main event was a comeback for TJ Dillashaw, disgraced by getting found out that he'd taken steroids after his loss to Henry Cejudo 2.5 years ago. He came back. You and I both thought that Corey Sandhagen probably was going to wipe him out the door in this one because Dillashaw would have that rust and just not be able to handle it. But Dillashaw was the better fighter. I think he deserved the decision, in my opinion. What about you?
It was super close.
Yeah.
It was one heck of a fight.
Yeah.
I thought Sandhagen did great on his counters, catching Dillashaw coming in, like by basically baiting him to come in
Yeah.
and tagging him. But Dillashaw was super aggressive. I thought the entire fight he kept
Yeah.
pushing forward,
Push forward.
even when in that first round where I think he popped his knee because
Right.
Sandhagen had control of that knee for a better part of that round,
Yeah.
and he felt something go in it. Even with that being said, Dillashaw kept getting his back, his standing back position, and pushing him up against the cage. That kept being a prominent, controlling position throughout the entirety of that fight, and especially in rounds 4 and 5, which I think that's what literally won him the fight,
Yeah.
because there was really no control where a fighter was decisively in control of that fight for periods of time.
True.
It went
Yeah.
back and forth
Yeah.
a lot, and
Yeah.
it was super close. But yes, I believe, like you, Dillashaw did win that fight. Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
close, super close fight.
Yeah, it was super close fight. Very entertaining fight. But I think with Dillashaw pressing the action going forward the whole time, I think it put Sandhagen on his back foot too often. I think it made the judges see that, hey, he's taking it to him. Sandhagen did a great job countering and great movement, but I think it was definitely 3 rounds to 2. Those last 2 rounds to Dillashaw, and he was able to come back and have a really great performance. Where do you see him going next? Do you think he deserves to be right into the title picture? Like they said, the winner of this was going to have a shot at the next at the champion once that fight happens.
Okay, because the champion right now is Aljamain Sterling, right?
Right, and
It's Aljo, and then I think Aljo and Peter Yan are still going to have a rematch.
yes, yes, yeah. So the winner
Yeah.
of that fight, they're
Okay,
talking about.
so with that being said, I do not think I don't know if Dillashaw should get like an immediate rematch right away. I don't know if he should get that.
Right.
I think maybe he gets somebody else in the top 5 before he gets said match up against the champion. Against whoever wins that fight between Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan. That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah, good call. Yeah, I agree. I don't. I think Sandhagen, if he won, he deserved it. But with
Yes.
Dillashaw, yeah, with Dillashaw and his checkered past and being out this long, yeah, I don't know. I don't think the UFC should give it to him. But we'll see what happens with Peter Yan and Aljamain, and yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, I don't know why, but I've seen a lot of guys get caught for steroids. I've seen a lot in my lifetime being a analyst on sports, a reporter and a fan, and this one really bothered me. TJ Dillashaw doing this, for some reason, it affected me a lot more than a lot of other guys, and I kind of do consider him a bit of a cheat. One of the guys that I was watching the fights with wanted Bruce Buffer to say, TJ, the snake in the grass, Dillashaw. And I don't know why. Were you affected by hearing about his cheating more than others?
I was, and I don't know if it's because of his perceived arrogance that he has,
Okay.
like how he carries himself. Maybe it has something to do with that. Maybe it's the fact that if he hadn't have gotten caught, maybe he just still would be doing the same thing, which I kind of believe he would be doing
Yeah.
if he hadn't have been caught. So I don't know, but at least I know this. He's definitely clean now, because if he does it again, like what they'll probably hit him for like 5 years, and then
Yeah.
that would be his career. So
That'd be it. Done. Yeah.
he definitely
Yeah.
can't be cheating anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. He better be clean now, or else. Yeah. So. Yeah, well, yeah, it was a great main event. I actually really enjoyed the fight a lot, and yeah, good for TJ coming back and doing that. I was really quite surprised, but yeah, he's always been a talented fighter. I just wish he would have done it clean. Co-main event, fight of the night. Both got 50K bonuses. Kyler the Matrix Phillips was phenomenal in that first round. Just really crisp with his shots. Had Haulian Paiva in tons of trouble. Just really looked phenomenal. And then Paiva ended up winning those next two rounds and taking the decision. Did you enjoy this fight as much as I did?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it because it looked like Phillips, if he had, let's say, one more minute in that first round, or you know what, maybe 30 seconds,
Yeah.
Paiva loses. He
Yeah.
gets taken out in that first round. And then for him to kind of wobble back to the fence and then not even take the stool, right? After the first round. I don't think he even sat on the stool. He was
No.
still on the ground. And
Yeah.
I'm like, he still walks. There's no way. In my mind, I was like, there's no way he survives the second round. He's done.
Yeah.
And then he pulled it off. He went Arturo Gatti and,
Yeah.
and found it within himself, and then put on one hell of a performance for the second and third round. He came roaring back. Did
Yeah.
not see that coming whatsoever.
No, I couldn't believe his cardio was still amazing. He just landed tons of bombs in that second and third round, and he just was, yeah, just able to rejuvenate himself. He's sitting on the ground that whole entire time between the first and second round, and he was in serious trouble. And I was really amazed. That was a comeback that I definitely wouldn't have bet on. They had a lot of funny exchanges about the betting odds through that night, and they were, suddenly the betting odds were skewed for the Matrix, and all of a sudden, yeah, I sure wish I would have put some money on Paiva to come back and pull off that win, because almost nobody would have ever put money on that one.
No, because that would be crazy. Like if you saw that first round, there is no way that you think that dude is coming back to win that fight. None.
No,
None.
not at all. Not at all. That was awesome. Yeah, I really recommend. I recommend people, viewers, listeners, try to find that fight. Kyler Phillips against Howlin' Paiva. Amazing, amazing, amazing performance, and that was really great. I enjoyed it a ton, and it was fight of the night, like I said, off the top. Another huge comeback in the featherweight fight right before that one by Darren Elkins. Derek Minner had Elkins in tons of trouble. That guy, he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. I've seen him fight in Vancouver twice. He fought here for the UFC once against a Japanese fighter. He actually fought here for Bodog once against another Japanese fighter. I've always really liked him. He's just tough as nails. He holds the record for the most bleeding in the UFC history. But he always takes damage, and then he always gives it back and pulls out the victory. Another amazing performance that's gonna be added on to the legend of Darren Elkins.
It's almost as if when you fight this guy, you get tired after beating him up. Like you're just like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. With Minner, he was so focused on trying to be the first to submit him that Darren Elkins is like, he fell right into my plan.
Boom,
Look at that, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just trying all these different submissions, and Darren's just like, no, very close, but no. And then all of a sudden it's like, now Minner's like, I'm exhausted. He's not tired. Okay, this is gonna stop.
Yeah, I know. You're right. Holy cow. Yeah, it must have been super disheartening for him. And he ended up in that crucifix position. 125 ground strikes he pounded down on him. I'm amazed that the fight didn't end sooner, because it was just damage just coming on. He's got a bunch of records in the featherweight division. He has 4 featherweight records. Most control time, over almost 2 hours. Most top position, an hour and a half. Most takedowns, 50. Most submission attempts, 25. And most bloodshed, numerous pints. I don't think they have a exact figure on that, but yeah, just crazy that he's been in there for so long. He has a high school wrestling record of 191-9. So out of 200 wrestling fights in high school, he won 191 of them. So you do not want to mess with this guy on the ground. He takes a lot of abuse on the feet, but once the fight goes to the ground, he's gonna win. He's taking you out.
Yeah, like you once you go to the ground, you enter his world, his realm. And even with Minner, who's incredibly gifted on the ground,
Yeah,
let's make no mistake, that guy is incredibly gifted.
yeah,
But guillotine chokes, he slipped out of. Arm bars, he thought he had him, slipped out of. Kimura attempts, all of those things, Minner could not lock up any of them.
no,
Elkins just weathered the storm and just basically like, okay, well, eventually I'm going to get you, and then it's going to be over. And that's exactly what happened.
yeah,
Crucifix position, 130 strikes to the dome later, game over.
yeah. Your referee Mark Smith had to come in and stop it. He's got the second most wins in UFC featherweight history, 15, just behind Max Holloway with 17. And as I said, yeah, I've liked him for a really long time. He when he fought here in Bodog, I got an opportunity to chat with him. I ended up seeing him in the bar, and we chatted a little bit. And yeah, I've always respected him. He's one ugly guy, but he doesn't care. He just loves what he does for a living, and he's so good at it. And he's continuing on his career. He had a short blip in his career where he lost I think he lost 4 in a row there, but he's back, and it's great to see a veteran like him continuing to display an incredible ability to fight really well, and I loved seeing him on this card.
Yeah, I do always enjoy watching him because you know what's going to happen, which is that other dude's just going to tire himself out by trying to beat this guy up, and then Elkin's going to turn around and beat him up and win.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we've talked about 3 fights already. There was 3 comebacks on those first 3 fights. Fourth fight, women's flyweight fight, another comeback. Miranda Maverick and Macy Barber, 2 of the youngest girls on the roster. Maverick was the better fighter for sure in that first round, and then Macy Barber won the second 2 rounds. According to the judges, I think I might have still given it to Maverick, but Macy Barber ended up pulling out this in a comeback win. What did you think of the decision and the fight as a whole?
I thought the fight was super close.
Yeah.
I was like yourself. I kind of thought Maverick had done enough to win, but I guess the judges obviously saw it differently. They thought that Barber's aggression and the fact that she was beginning to push the pace more, especially in the third round.
Third round, she was phenomenal. Yeah, she definitely won the third round, hands down. I'd say.
The question mark was the second round, right?
Yeah.
And the second round, I thought Barber was beginning to push the pace nearing the end, like somewhere like 3-minute mark, getting closer to the end of the second round, right? But it a very hard fight to obviously to score. But you got to give it to Barber. She managed to turn it on when she needed to, just enough for the judges to score it in her favor.
Yep.
But if that's what the UFC has for like their elite of their young talented fighters in that division for the young women, the future looks bright.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's amazing how young they are. They're both 23 years old. Actually, Macy's 23 and Miranda's 24, but 2 of the top 6 youngest fighters in the UFC women's division, and yeah, they're both really incredibly skilled, and yeah, very very tough girls, and I really enjoy seeing young girls like that yeah, fight so well. And she ended up calling out Jessica I, who's number 8 on the in the rankings, and she was number 14 coming in. It might be a stretch, but yeah, at least she made a call out to someone ahead of her, and I would love to see that fight.
I think that's a great call out. I think it's somebody that she can deal with. It's not somebody too far up the food chain for her. I think it was a proper call out for somebody of her abilities at this point in time. So it's good. Good call out.
Yeah, and Uriah Faber was in her corner. He had a lot of great things to say about her after the fight, and he's very high on her abilities. She called out her biggest thing that she's concerned about right now is human trafficking. She had a website that she wanted people to go to. Macy Barber, human trafficking. She said it's a massive problem in the world, and yeah, hopefully she can get a lot of support for the cause and help out. And yeah, great to see these young girls. Both of them have bright futures for sure. This was a fun fight, and I enjoyed it a lot. Another 50K bonus went to Adrian Yanez. He came back and beat Randy Costa after Costa was able to light him up incredibly well in that first round. Incredible job that he just kept peppering him. And Costa was just incredibly accurate. I didn't see the exact numbers of how many punches he threw and how many landed, but it had to be in the 80s or 90%. But Yanez came back and took the win, got the knockout. It's incredible that every single fight on this card was a comeback.
Yes, yes, it was an incredible fight because Costa was touching up Yanez like no tomorrow. His jab was so laser focused on that man's face. It was unbelievable. So, so in the second round, you're thinking, okay, so it's just going to be more of the same. But what Yanez managed to figure out is how to neutralize Costa's jab. He started throwing his jab with Costa's jab and managing to get his head off the center line. So all of a sudden, that alone managed to change the momentum of the fight. And then he started to really piece him up. Because Costa, all of a sudden, his tank was running empty.
Yeah.
I think at the same time. And Yanez was not running empty at all. Even with all those strikes he took to the dome, just didn't matter for him. And eventually got him up against the cage. He was at two punch combination, 3-punch combination, two body shots, and then the uppercut that felled him, and then it was game over. Game over, man. It was a great win by Yanez because that was a difficult fight, a hugely difficult fight that he managed to find a way to win.
Yeah, that was really incredible because yeah, Costa just couldn't throw a punch that wouldn't land in that first round, busted him up with incredible amount of jabs and hooks, and everything was landing. And then Yanez came back to his corner, figured out the plan. Those body shots were great. He was able to neutralize Costa. Yeah, I could see Costa's tank was empty. I guess he just put too much out there in the first round. And then that huge uppercut that dropped him. Chris Taglioni came in and stopped it. That also won him a month's supply of Dr. Pepper. They had a bit of a bet going on, so that was kind of hilarious to hear that they had a friendly bet being waged. It was Reese's Peanut Butter Cups or Dr. Pepper on the other side, so a month's supply of Dr. Pepper. Don't know how much that costs, but probably manageable for a guy.
Yeah. It's a nice little bet between competitors. So that was pretty cool to see. A great win by Yanez.
Yeah, that is. I think that's his third or fourth KO in a row, and yeah, fifth K in a row, and that's gets him. No, that's sorry, that is his third KO in a row. Francis Ngannou has 5. That's the longest active streak. Tai Tuivasa and Chris Daukaus both have 3 each, so 3 KOs in a row. Yanez didn't look like he was going to extend that streak, but man, is that guy tough. And watch all 3 of those knockouts. Incredible performance by him. And yeah, he is a serious threat in that division and a big up-and-comer.
Yes. Yeah. He's on his way up, and he's got the power to put people away. And it's power that actually doesn't fade. He carries it on through round 1, 2.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly, yeah. Okay, so let's go to the featured fight in the prelim card. Brendan Allen and Puna Soriano. Amazing fight as well. Brendan Allen, man, that guy is one tough guy. I thought he was going to have a ton of trouble with the Hawaiian Puna. He ended up grinding out a really good decision victory in this one.
Yeah, well, with Brendan Allen, he is such a great technical fighter, and Suriano, super tough, super powerful. So you're looking at both these fighters and thinking to yourself, well, will one guy trump the other guy because of what he's really good at? With Suriano with power, or Brendan Allen with his technical prowess? In the end, it happened to be Allen with his technical prowess and the fact that the man can take a shot.
Right. Yep.
He can take a punch, man.
Yep.
And because Sariano touched him up a couple of times with some power shots, and Brendan Allen kept coming. I would say the one strike that was the most significant between the two fighters was Brendan Allen's a leg kick to the body. He kept landing that over and over and over again.
Yep.
And that particular shot was what tired up Suriano enough that I think that affected him in the fight and gave him Allen the ability to win the fight.
Yeah, yeah, good call. Definitely. That was Puna's first loss in the UFC. He was 8-0, now he's 8-1. So huge win for Brendan Allen. There wasn't any real big favorite in this one, but yeah, that O must go. Miranda Maverick was also undefeated going into that fight and lost her first fight ever. He called out Sean Strickland, who's fighting in the main event this coming Saturday against Uriah Hall. That'll be a heck of a battle, those two. Strickland's on a 4-fight win streak, and Brendan Allen's, just lighting guys up. I hope they can put that together. That'd be amazing to see.
Yes, that would be awesome to see, and I would love to see that fight, like especially when it looks like Brendan Allen seemed like when he was talking about it in the post-fight interview that Strickland was ducking him or something like that. So yeah, maybe there's a little bit of animosity. Yes, I love that. I love that when there's something between the fighters that will basically spice up the fight. So yeah, hopefully they make that happen.
Yeah, and he also called out Edmund Shabazian, and I think a lot of guys are calling him out right now because he really is on a downslide, a couple losses in a row. But I prefer to see Sean Strickland, Brendan Allen. I think that'll be great. But we'll talk about Strickland in a couple minutes, previewing next weekend. Ian Heinisch came out pretty strong in his middleweight battle between Nasruddin Imavov. And but Imavov, man, I wouldn't want to face this guy. This guy is tough and mean, and he got a big knockout victory in this one. Did you hear? Did you hear?
I heard about like 3 words. So please.
Okay, tell me about your thoughts about the Heinisch Imavov fight.
Okay, well, I thought to myself that Imavov had the better movement between the two guys. Like I thought his in and out movement was fantastic, and also too I thought his assortment of attacks was just better than Ian Heinisch's. So and also too, but Heinisch had the one thing that was going for him, which was he just kept attacking Imavov's front leg kick, leg kick, leg kick. He tried to take away Imavov's base.
Yep.
But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because Imavov had constant pressure. He kept pressing Heinisch with his pressure, and also too because of that pressure, it was harder for Heinisch to throw that leg kick if he's constantly going backwards.
Right.
So he was somewhat negating his leg kick, but Heinisch was still managing to land it. But then again, eventually he got caught. Heinisch got caught with a lightning quick left that dropped him, and then in round 2, and then 1-2 against the fence, followed by the knee, and then it was all she wrote. It was over.
Yeah, good call. He's pretty lethal. Heinisch, with those leg strikes, I thought he was going to start getting an advantage, but once he was being having to always go back and try to fight off these hard shots. He took a lot of damage to his eye, and he was getting picked apart. Some really lethal shots. The one shot that just wobbled him, and then he went back against the cage, took a couple more, took the knee, and hit the ground. Mark Smith had to come in and stop it, and yeah, super dominant performance. Imavov, he's from France, but I think he's Dagestan guy. Man, those Dagestanis are just they're rising up to the top of this UFC. I'd be surprised if we don't see 3 or 4 of these guys champs very soon.
Yeah, man. Like these Dagestani fighters are the truth. They're the real deal. They
Yeah.
can fight you at any level, at any time, and they're all super, super duper tough.
Yeah.
Super tough. Because
Yeah.
I'd have to say that anybody else that takes that many leg kicks that Imavov did, like he had the perfect poker face. It didn't look like they affected him whatsoever
No.
at all, which
Yeah.
is kind of a
Amazing. Very amazing. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Jordan Williams, Mickey Gall. I've never been a fan of Mickey Gall. I think he started his UFC career a little too soon. I think they pushed him into the top league early on before he really had a well-rounded game. But this was probably the best performance I've ever seen out of him. But he went back to his tried and true rear naked choke. He's got 5 victories by rear naked choke out of his no 6 rear naked choke wins out of his 7 victories. Pretty crazy that yeah, he just constantly goes to that and guys can't defend it and he ends up getting the victory.
Yeah, but I would say that Williams did have his bell rung from that close in shovel uppercut with the right that he floored him with.
Right.
And I did a replay of that particular punch. That was a lot of power generated close in that
Yeah.
I've never seen Mickey Gall do.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
was so impressed with that blow and that strike.
Yeah.
And I want to say that's what paid him dividends going forward in that fight. I don't think Williams ever really recovered after that particular strike.
Yeah.
And then eventually Gall was able to take him down, take his back, fix for the rear naked choke, and then eventually get it. And that was all she wrote.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, he's got the second most submissions at welterweight history. Uh, Chris Lytle, Damian Meyer, and Gunnar Nelson all have 6 submission wins, and Matt Hughes, Eric Silva, and Mickey Gall now have 5, which is kind of crazy. That shocks me. That out of the history of the welterweight division, yeah, it's only 6 submissions is the top, but he's already got 5. Yeah, I think he's developing. You're right. That power that he generated from that punch, it wasn't there in his early fights, but he was somehow able to generate that and yeah, take the fight to the ground where he's been dominant already.
Yes, yeah, and he's going to be always dominant on the ground. That's his bread and butter, and especially going to that rear naked choke, that's what he's most comfortable with.
Yep.
If you can fight that off and somehow manage to keep this dude on his feet, well, then I think you got a better chance of beating Mickey Gall.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, this fight between Julio Arce and Adrian Ewell, one of my other favorite fights on the card. Yeah, I was really surprised that Arce was able to be yeah, so good after return of over 2 years. He had surgery on both of his elbows and he was coming back and they made him the favorite and he came in and got the KO victory. Super impressive performance with a guy that's been through a lot over the past couple of years.
Yes, it was very impressive against a tough opponent, and Arce looked fantastic. Like
Yeah.
his hands looked crisp, sharp counters. Footwork looked fantastic. He just looked really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And I was expecting there to be some sort of ring rust, but just like we saw with Dillashaw from the main event with this guy Arce, there wasn't really any. He looked sharp in there,
Yeah.
real sharp. And
Sure
real
did. Yeah, very sharp. Amazing performance and yeah, Mr. Highlight yeah, has another one on his resume. Pretty incredible. Okay, two more fights on the card. Just briefly go over them. Sajara Eubanks has had a little bit of struggles recently. Decided to try another weight class. Came in and beat up Elise Reed really bad. Her eye was completely shut. Really took advantage of her, got on top, and just pounded her out until the ref stopped it. Sarge is back, and first loss ever to Reed. Young girl as well, but yeah, this was definitely Sarge's fight the whole time.
Yeah, Reed looked a little bit overmatched in this fight. And I want to say that maybe Eubanks should stay at this weight division.
Yeah.
She just looked super powerful and very, very strong. Like to the point that maybe she was dehydrating herself too much to get down to that lower weight division.
Yeah.
I think this is one where she should stay at because she looked really, really good and really, really healthy at this weight class.
Yeah. She called out pretty much everybody after the fight. She wants to go after the belt and wants everybody on the way up. So yeah, great to see. I've always been impressed by her performances, and yeah, she seems back. And I think you're right. I think this is the right weight class for her. Anything to say about this first fight of the night, the women's strawweight fight? Went to the decision. Diana Belbita beat Hannah Goldie. I don't really have much to say, but anything stand out for you with this one?
Not really. It was just a good win by what was her name again? Hannah. But yes, it was a good win. It was a good win. Yeah. Nothing really stood out too much for me in this fight either.
Yeah, same goes. Yeah. Okay, well, great card as always. That was the comeback card of the year. There was every single fight on the main card was a comeback, and there was a few other comebacks on the prelims too. So cool fight, cool card. I enjoyed it so much, and I hope you did too. Did you appreciate it as much as I did?
Of course I did. Of course I did, man. I wasn't expecting to see all of these fighters just like find the will deep within them to say, no, I'm not going out like that. I'm gonna come back. Like it was so many fighters that did that on this card. It was actually kind of amazing. It was very cool to see and very entertaining to be a part of, to watch for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Okay, why don't we just touch base on next Saturday's card? That's back at the UFC Apex. We've got Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland both come in off of 4-fight winning streaks. Both tough as nails. Uriah Hall coming in after that. Chris Weidman, really short performance where Weidman broke his leg. Yeah, what do you see in this one? Who do you think's got the edge?
I think I'm hoping that Uriah Hall doesn't have a slow start because he can be notorious for his slow starts, and that can affect his chances of winning the fight. Hopefully he comes out faster than he usually does.
Yeah.
And then if he does that, I think we're going to see a fantastic fight. But if he comes out with a slow start, I think he gives all the advantage to Sean Strickland by just giving away the first round.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, yeah. He does that too often, doesn't he?
He does that a lot, man. He does that way too often. So I'm hoping that that is not the case for this particular fight.
Yeah. So, yeah, me too. I love watching Hall. He's got some of the most highlight real fights in the history of the sport, and yeah, he's great when he's on. But he does have slow starts, and Sean Strickland isn't a guy you want to start slow against. Strickland has been on a tear, and he's tough as nails. So, but yeah, great battle. I think that's going to be a fun main event. The co-main event has Chris Daukaus against Shamil Abdurakhimov. I can't tell you too much about him, but I can tell you that Daukaus is on a 4 KO win streak. He beat Danny Holmes, Parker Porter, Rodrigo Nascimento, and Alexei Oleinik, all by KO. He's really been amazing to come into the UFC and get these quick knockouts. He's been on a tear, and I suspect he's probably going to have difficulty in this one. But what do you think?
I'm gonna apologize here. Who is the co-main event again? I did not hear that at all. I didn't hear
Oh,
that. I didn't hear.
Shamil Abdurakhimov.
Okay, with Chris Dawkins. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
I think this is going to be a great fight. Uh, I love Chris Dawkins. I
yeah.
love Chris Dawkins because he's on the come up. He is incredibly confident fighter right now. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm going with Chris Dawkins. I'm going
Nice.
with Chris Dawkins on this fight because he just seems to have all the momentum on his side, and I don't know if he steamrolls Abdur oh man, but Abdurakhimov or whatever. I don't think he steamrolls him, but I think he beats him for sure. I do.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
do.
yeah. Me too. Yeah. A lot of other
Yeah.
great fights on the card. Good to see Smile and Sam Alvey back. The fight that kicks off the main card has Brian Barberina against Jason the Vanilla Gorilla Witt, which will be a hell of a battle. Those two guys know how to bang, and it'll be fun. Quite a few of the sort of lesser names on the prelim card. Any other fighters standing out for you that people should keep an eye out for?
Uh, Possibly the main event on the prelim card, because I remember seeing that Lazez guy fight, and I liked the way that he fought. He
Yeah.
was pretty dynamic with his striking, so I'm kind of curious to see if he can keep his stock rising within the UFC.
Stolze, yeah, that's a tough opponent. Both those
Yes.
guys are, yeah, really good. Gritzmeyer's there on the card. Ashley Yoder stands out. Kai Kamaka against Danny Chavez. And then we've got Ryan Benoit kicking off the card. So, yeah, it goes a little earlier. I think starts at prelims start at 1. Main card starts about 3. So, a little earlier than normal. But, yeah, it'll be fun as always, won't it?
Yes, of course it will be fun as always because we'll be watching and we'll be cheering and we'll be analyzing as we always do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thanks, man. This was great. An amazing breakdown. And yeah, I'm sure there's going to be tons of stuff to talk about next week with all the huge trades, the draft that happens, and UFC. I'm sure there'll be some more things coming out of the NFL and Olympics too. I hope you get a chance to see more of the Olympics. And yeah, I hope you have a week that goes nice and fast and you get to enjoy the sunshine quite a bit.
Yes, well, thank you very much. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your time off because it's now coming to a close.
Yeah.
And then you get to join us back in the working world. So exciting. So exciting.
So exciting. Yeah. I won't be able to sleep. I pulled an all-nighter Saturday through Sunday. So I got a couple more nights to pull all-nighters and then I'm back at it, having to get up early and pound it. Yeah. I'm sure I won't be as happy next Monday as I am this Monday for sure.
No, you will not. No, you will not. You will feel the crushing weight of, oh man, work. Awesome. Love it. Love it so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Okay, well, enjoy your night. I'm about to strip off my clothes and enjoy the rest of my week. And I guess, yeah, I'm sure we'll be texting quite a bit through the week as things wear on. And I hope I get to cross paths with you at some of the prop houses like we've done over the years. I'll see you at VPC on Thursday somewhere.
Yes, definitely. I will see you there, my friend. I will
Nice.
see you.
Okay. All right, buddy. Cheers. Thanks, man. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. Okay. Thanks, Jason, and thank you to all our viewers and listeners. Thank you, Lorraine, for all your great help this week, and thank you for watching and listening. I appreciate it as always, and thank you to our partners and sponsors: Anchor FM, the easiest place to make a podcast; Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company with the V350 Pampas and Possibilities, the designers of West Coast pretty things that you can put through your household. And of course, Forever Living, the aloe vera company that make products for health and beauty. So thank you to our partners and sponsors, and thank you to you. Thanks, Jason. You made my Monday evening great as usual. And I'm going to send you on your way, and I'm going to get undressed because I'm really hot under these lights and doing this. But anyway, have a great week. Check out CompleteMediaNetwork.com. Tons of stuff on there. So many new things on all of our websites. We've got everything for everybody. So check us out. Okay? Take care of yourself. Love you lots. Bye for now.